Okay, I think we are all good and running. Hello everyone, I'm Phoenix and I don't have any... Hold on, let me see. Okay, let me try this again. Hello everyone, I'm Phoenix and welcome back, I guess, to Gold Mining Simulator. A game that used to be called Gold Rush, and I've started playing it again recently, and I was in two minds to stream, didn't know really what to stream, if anything. But I decided to just do a stream today, because why not? It is very warm in here, and I had an accident with this thing. Hold on, let me just... So this is a new... No, don't do that. That can go wrong. No. I just need to... And then hop up here. I need a bit of fuel. Right, so what is this game? Because chances are you've not seen this before. I've had it on the channel before. It got quite a lot of hits, actually. It's a disturbingly large amount of hits. So, see how it does this time. This is a game that looks quite dated, and it is. It's from 2017. I don't want to think about how long ago that was. It's had an interesting life, and it basically simmered down for a little bit. Nothing much went on. Yeah, there we go. Right. Nothing really, development basically stopped for a bit, and then it started up again. And they've been doing some DLC, and I don't have all the DLC. I've just got the... Well, I've got the Frankenstein DLC, but I've also got the first one that they did. Little mini machine type things. But they've released more DLC, and they're working on the next game as well, Gold Mining Simulator 2. But just taking out all the DLC, because quite a lot of this stuff, I think actually all of this stuff, for the most part, is sort of non-DLC content. This was all in the game, just as default. The dump truck I'm using, probably about that. So, okay, we should probably do a little bit of history. So, the game was released 2017 as Gold Rush the Game, which is based... It was based off the TV series, which I have never watched. I think I've watched some clips, so I roughly know what it's about, sort of. I think it's like some sort of semi-reality TV show about people mining for gold in Alaska. It's an American thing. It's not something that we get over here. And they made a game about it. And let's not beat around the bush. A lot of games that are made about movies or about TV shows or about other games are usually awful. There are a few good sort of movie tie-ins, I guess, but an awful lot of them aren't that good. I mean, even worse if they're going the other way around, where you end up with TV shows about games. The only one that is sort of worth watch is Battleship. It's a weirdly good film if you just want to just turn off your brain. And that was about a board game. Apparently, like the Doom film's dreadful and all that. But anyway, case in point, a lot of these are terrible, and this game is janky. It's got a lot of issues. It's got a lot of bugs which will never be fixed. A lot of physics issues, mostly. However, got an awful lot going for it, because it shouldn't be this good, really. If you think about it, it should just be a dumb gold mining game, but we've got deformable terrain, and this is actually deformable. This isn't just, oh yes, and there's that as well. So my components that I am digging into the soil do have durability. If I slam the teeth against hard rock too much, it's going to break eventually, and I'm going to have to replace that part. There's an entire part store of parts that need to be replaced on machines regularly. Parts will break, and parts will have more of a chance to break in spring and autumn. Not in summer, not in winter either. Mostly because in summer your water source may just dry up and you won't be able to use your machines anymore unless you've mitigated. You've put in mitigations for that. And the same with winter. It can get so cold that your water source freezes and you won't be able to use that water source anymore until it defrosts, which could take a while. The ground can freeze in winter, and when you sort of return in sort of early spring, meaning that if you want to be able to dig in the soil, you might need to use a bulldozer with the ripper over it first, just to break it up. An awful lot of thought went into this game for something like this. The wash plant as well. You have different tiers of wash plant, and you build it up piece by piece by hooking it to those lugs that I've got on the underside of the big excavator bucket. And yeah, there is a small excavator as well, and a huge excavator if you got the DLC. You hook it up to those lugs with cables, which can snap if you put too much pressure on them. They can snap, and then you haul it into place and you drop it in. And of course, all those parts have durability as well. Have parts on them that have durability, and they can break, meaning that you have to replace them every so often. The wash plant itself doesn't just make you gold. You do actually have to stop and empty it using your tools, which we may not get to, but I can probably demonstrate some of it when I'm finished with this load. So what else? Oh yeah, and there's pressure mechanics in the game. You've got your pump too far from the water source. Well, you're not getting water. So you do actually need to place your pumps in the right place. You do have to stretch cables from one place to another, and the same with water pipes. So this game has a lot going for it. A lot. And it was made as a TV show tie-in, and it pleases me to oh, we're gonna have to replace a part. Yay, that part breaks a lot. I have a lot of trouble with that part. I probably should put in the reinforced version, but that's 10,000, and to be fair, maybe when I've broken 10 of them, I'll put that one in. Right, this will be the last thing. There is also a front loader, which I was using, and that's actually how I got quite a nice decline down, but I can really only afford to rent one thing, and I've decided to rent the dump truck until I can once I can buy one of these, then I'll probably rent the front loader. I am getting in quite a lot of money from this. A wash plant at the moment is doing about 1,000 grams of gold. Oh, and there's an entire upgrading system using magnetite. So we can run through that. So, wash plant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tip that up. That's going to empty. I'm going to cut off the power because fuel is expensive. And right, so dirt goes into the hopper. That goes into the conveyor, and then it goes into the shaker, and that's just shaken up, breaking the dirt free of large rocks, and the large rocks are basically going, any large rock going into this pipe here. The dirt is then going into here, and this is stripping off large sections of gold all the way down here, and then the water continues down here into the trommel, which is breaking stuff up. Oh wait, I need to stop things. I do need to stop things because I've got no water. I don't want that to overfill. If that overfills, we're going to start losing the dirt, and we don't want to do that. So yeah, the trommel kind of breaks stuff up. It goes down into here. This filters out larger bits, and then it goes into here. We get buckets of dirt come out of here, and then it kind of goes in there. So throughout all this section, all the way down, we're getting gold. But we would then need to separate it out. So the mats go into the gold nugginator, which breaks a lot. And then that dirt then goes into the separator, which then splits out from all of the dirt. After it's kind of all come down, if it's in a bucket, it goes in there. If it's in that form, it goes into a bucket, and then it goes in there. Everything will eventually end up in the separator, and that separates the magnetite from the gold. The gold we just sell as gold bars. The magnetite we are using as an upgrade for making the gold stuff better, allowing us to get lower prices to actually make the gold bars, just generally making the gold bar creation process more efficient and faster as well. Currently it's down to about 7 seconds to make a bar. Right, I need to nip to... I could go to the parts store. I could just literally drive to the parts store, or I could just go in there. You see, I'm going to need to replace this part. Oh, I can go. We can drive down to the store. I've got the parts store upgrade in the tablet, so you don't need to do this each time. But for the purposes of the stream video thingamajig of showing the game off, let's go to the stores. I also get fuel delivered in a big the big tank, so I can top up stuff every so often. So the world is, it's large enough. I think the case is large enough, or small enough, however you want to phrase it. Really, it is a glass half empty type of town. So that's where I'll drop off magnetite, and down the side we've got all our useful bits of information, including version. They decided to put version in the game constantly rather than somewhere normal like the main menu. The game has a few oddities. I don't know if it's more slippery when it rains, but it feels like it. That said, the truck isn't exactly the most planted thing ever anyway. With all the DLC, this has actually grown as well. We can nip into here for 1 second. So we've got 2 stores. We've got heavy machinery, which is all of this. So I will want to buy one of these. It's reasonably expensive. Currently I'm renting it, and it's about 4,000 a day to rent. All these pieces I already have. Crane that in, broke a cable on that one, broke several cables I think on that one, but there's sort of more stuff we can go for. That I would like a planter. These are basically the the upgraded version, duplex jigs. But really, I want all of this. I want that. It's the Frankenstein. This is just a conveyor belt, basically. So I could put a conveyor belt along the entire parcel and then just lift dirt onto the conveyor belt, and it would go into the end. This is the new DLC over here. So I don't own this, so I can't buy it. Oh, this is the old DLC. These are the mini machines. Got a little skid steer, a little mini drill, and a little mini excavator. But yeah, this is the new stuff. This is the Orange Beast, and yeah, it's big, but yeah. And there is also this is like basically another version of the Frankenstein, but yeah, it's a conveyor belt that's remote controlled, so you can kind of sit outside it and move it where you need to go. And you've also got the huge excavator, which is huge and kind of strangely modelled, because that is a very thin chain for a very wide track, but is what it is. So yeah, that's this. So this is the machines part store. Now let's go to the small part store. Right, and we're going there, and I need a water pump. Lots of parts here. So out here is a bunch of just sort of like trailers and stuff, and sort of useful things for the actual plot itself. Not everything is to buy, you know. We've kind of got the shelf with oil here, and this stuff is to buy, that stuff is, but that's not. I do wonder if some of these things were originally intended to be things that didn't actually end up in the game. But I need one of these. So yeah, there's parts for pretty much everything in here. Anything that needs to be replaced, you order it and then you hit that machine, and yeah, right. And now we can go and replace our big water pump coil again. I do go through these things, and I do need the reinforced one, but I'm going to lose some of the money that I've got up there. I earned it this day, so I think so. I will have about 4,500-ish to go for the dump truck rental, and about 10% of my gold earnings, I think, go to whoever owns the parcel, because I don't own it. I'm renting it. But yeah, it's not particularly huge, and I do need to start looking at maybe thinking about different parcels. There's 4 to choose from, but they all cost money, so we are starting on the starter plot, which is free, but you do have to give up some of your gold each day. If you don't earn any gold, however, you don't have to pay anything, but it's gold or money. If you don't have the gold, then the money equivalent is taken from you, so you are paying each day. Right, let's get this thing back on again. Right, so we get our wrench. For whatever reason, again, you know, so you're gonna see some jankiness in here, some things where it's just like, well, why did they do it like that? And frankly, yeah, I kind of agree with quite a lot of things. So you'll notice that down on the tooltip, for example, it's left mouse button to unscrew and right mouse button to screw. Why not just do that as a contextual thing? You know, if it needs to be unscrewed, it's just one button rather than two buttons. You know, one for unscrew, one for script. Just do it one for both. I suspect there may have been some sort of technical limitation as to why they couldn't do that, or maybe they didn't know how. You can't. It's a very weird game. It is a very weird game in that it feels like they put a lot of care and attention into it, building some quite interesting features, and then just completely forgot to polish it. Right, that can go back on. This can go back on as well. Now that we've got water going again. Right, I need to do about I think it's, I can't remember if it's 4 or 5 loads with this. Depends on how much I had in there in the first place, because I would have had a little bit left over from the last pour. So basically, I tend to haul dirt up until it hits about 70% ish, and then that usually that last one is one that I will watch to turn the machine off if I'm getting too full, basically. But each so at the moment, that's exactly what I didn't want to happen. However, it should sort of sort itself out. That should be fine. Probably should have just turned the shaker on and then not the conveyor, not the hopper. Sorry, but it is what it is. Can get back to digging. It's quite therapeutic, really. Just doing some digging for a bit. It's perfect game for a hot day. I was playing. Basically, people have been talking about Vintage Story recently, and Vintage Story originated from a Minecraft mod called, name is complete, Terra Firma Craft. Terra Firma Craft does still exist, incredibly, and I started playing that this morning alongside dealing with all sorts of fun things, including closing a bin on my fingers. But it's been a day. But I have been very much enjoying a 4-day weekend. Because it's bank holiday. I don't know why it's a bank holiday in the UK. I say UK, England. England has very few bank holidays, and they're usually all for big things. I think this is the last bank holiday we get for a while, though. I think it's like longest, I don't know if it's like longest summer day or something along those lines. I don't know. But yeah, England has the fewest bank holidays out of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. Out of the 4, Northern Ireland, out of the 4 countries within the United Kingdom, England has the fewest, which makes you wonder, really, that we've never really wanted to fix that. Mostly, I don't think we have anything really to really need a bank holiday to have. Really, you know, it's England. What does England really have to celebrate? Really, I think America has quite a lot of these sorts of those sorts of days where it's like, you know, like Labor Day, those sorts of things. But America being America, I don't know if people are you know, paid to have a bank holiday, for example. kind of eye-opening when you think that how closeted America is to the point where when Americans come to the UK and it's like, I'm sick, I have to work. No, you don't. You get a certain amount of sick leave. You don't have to take it out of your holiday. You don't need to phone around to find somebody to replace you. It's kind of surprising, really. I always find that surprising. And quite kind of humorous as well. Right. So yeah, now the game is basically this now. It is... you start off by digging a hole, and then when you sort of upgrade a bit, you end up digging a bigger hole, and then when you upgrade a bit more, you end up just digging a bigger hole. There's a lot of hole digging in this game, and when you... It's like people have made games just about digging holes. Well, just buy this game, so you get a bit more. You get a reward for digging holes. You get a gold bar at the end. And the gold bars do actually are bigger depending on how much. Again, it's weird. It's a weird game. It's got its problems. It's got its bugs. It's got its physics bugs which are never going to be fixed, and sometimes your vehicle will just completely flip out and literally flip out, pretty much go into the stratosphere and then just suddenly appear on the ground as if nothing had ever happened. I've lost magnetite trailers because they've fallen through the ground. Not lost completely, you can recover them, and there is a thing that you can do to recover things like that little mess, or you can just hook it up to the lugs on the excavator and just pull it out, because that's also a thing that you can do in this game. Yeah, I am looking forward to Gold Mining Simulator 2 as a result, as long as the same people involved in the first one are involved in the second. And I don't know if that is the case. I know it's one of those weird situations where I know it's the same development studio, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they've got the same people working on the game. Just because this game was surprisingly good. And I think it's a testament to what games can be. Yeah, that happens. I've got long nails, and so when I'm dealing with the buttons which aren't necessarily the best laid out, I can end up hitting E a lot. So that happens a bit. My nails aren't long enough to actually cut them down. Yeah, that happens when I'm pressing two keys at the same time. Oh god. No. Pad in. There we go. Right. I think we got a good bucket full there. One more bucket and then we can drop this off. Grounded 2, played more of that. Probably reached the end of where I would want to get to before more content. The new boss has been teasered. It is a large tarantula, which is fine. I'm not scared of spiders at all. I've got 2 on my ceiling right now, I think, and several in the corners. There we go. However, obviously not for everyone. However, also if you're playing or watching a game like Grounded, yeah, expect bugs. But the thing, 'cause I do read the roadmap as well. The thing that does sort of slightly I guess concern me is that right now they're releasing the new boss, but they don't actually have the ability to make the better weapons and the like, which that's meant to be in the winter update. So I don't know how much, if any, of the new update I will do. But we'll see. End of the day, it is always a case of, well, we'll see what happens with that. The other one that I'm kind of waiting on, Subnautica 2, having a little bit of a turbulent time though. The way that I see it is going to be a little bit controversial, probably. I do want to play Subnautica 2, and yeah, the 4 founders were quite unceremoniously kicked out, and there's some lawsuits and stuff going on with that. If the game doesn't sell well, then the developers, the people who actually made the game rather than the founders, won't get their bonus. So, you know, it's something to consider. And yes, the founders did say that they would share their sort of the bulk, their cash, their bonus with the rest of the team. Fine, but as it stands, the founders are suing Crafton, I think they're called, the new owners anyway of Subnautica 2, for what their bonus would have been. The bonus is apparently still on the table if Subnautica 2 sells well for the developers, and that would be, I think it's something like 25 mil to the developers to be shared between them, if the game sells well, or well enough, I think is the term. I don't think we have like the contracted sales figures, but the founders were going to be in for something like 250 mil, and obviously they're not getting that anymore. It's going to be an interesting lawsuit, certainly. Unsure what's going to come out of that, but there's actually quite a few interesting lawsuits going on at the moment. There's that one, there's the Minecraft one, where an individual is doing a class action lawsuit against Mojang for encouraging, or maybe not encouraging, but standing by and doing nothing, certainly when it comes to gambling within Minecraft, specifically Minecraft servers, which are incredibly pay to win. Loot boxes are just sort of the tip of it. There's a lot of quite nefarious going on, and yet sure, it costs money to run servers, we know this. However, you can make for-profit servers without encouraging behaviours that are not healthy for well, quite frankly, for anyone, though, you know, I'm generally against gambling, so I'm a little bit biased there. But yeah, it's not a thing that really should be available to kids, basically. And that's you know, people without impulse control are the people that are going to be partaking in these activities. So yeah, and you know, you only need to sort of watch a few Mr. Epic videos to kind of realise that actually, yeah, it is a problem, and Mojang do need to be doing more about it. And for whatever reason, they won't. That was the other. That one's quite new, and I don't think that's actually been filed yet. But that one is apparently coming. The other interesting one is, of course, the Power World one, which is ongoing. Nintendo are panicking. There's no other word for it. I get in Japanese culture, maybe not Japanese culture, but a lot of these Japanese companies don't necessarily see competition quite in the same way, and there's a lot of there have been a lot of Japanese companies specifically going after developers, content creators, whatever, for perceived slights. And the Power World, while they might have a few cases, the Power World devs are actually actively changing the game to try and distance themselves as much from the patents as possible. However, that does get quite difficult when Nintendo keep changing the patents to try and, you know, catch. It's almost like they're trying to catch them out. I don't know. It's a very strange thing. I feel like it's, you know, it's a fear basically that, you know, Pokemon is quite, you know, it's a huge business. It's a huge franchise. That's the word I'm looking for. Yes. I can probably start extracting some of the pay dirt, and we can do some of that instead. But I will just grab a full load of that. But yeah, Sega did the same thing with a whole bunch of content creators. They had a new game coming out. And so they hit a whole bunch of creators with a bunch of DMCAs, so that they could get their game higher up in the search rankings. And some of these content creators went away immediately. They got 3 strikes almost immediately and gone. That case was talked about. In regards to sort of DMCAs being broken, and it is. And DMCA is sort of it's a system that, well, actually Tom Scott did quite a good video on DMCA and basically said DMCA isn't broken. It's more that the way that it's being applied is the problem. I think his I can't remember what his actual video went into, but I think it was like, you know, basically DMCA isn't broken, the internet is. It's not really a tool that's being used particularly well. You know, it's fine, but it's very easy to exploit. Right, let's get this load up. So I was running out of fuel for that, and I'll probably need to just pull the excavator out of its hole, mostly because my fuel truck is in the mines. Right, I'm going to crash into that. That's not right. Okay, so my fuel source has dried up. So none of this system is going to be running. It doesn't mean I can't get some gold out, and I do need a new duplex pump jig, so I will just grab one of those now, which means that my trommel rollers are now being destroyed as well. Oh, the entire system's basically, I need to run through the entire system now and just replace some parts. I think we're at a good part now of, yeah, okay, I think quite a few of these things need to be replaced. Why do I have a 2% trommel roller just sitting there? How are we doing on these? Actually, not too bad. It's not all of them. I am gonna need new ones. Is it just that one? That's just this one that's actually dead. So let's pull that one off. I can sell those for a little bit of cash, so that's fine. Let's just also turn that off, save some fuel, just top that one up again. So I need a trommel roller and a duplex pump jig. I can do that from here. Parts, and we are looking for a trommel roller. Might just get a couple of those because I have a suspicion that one's probably going to die soon. Also, same with these. Yeah, I can afford that. That's fine. May as well buy the parts because I'm probably about to need them. But yeah, interesting world we live in with situation, with gaming stuff at the moment. There's some, yeah, as I said, there's some interesting lawsuits. The Power World Nintendo one, I think. I'm hoping that doesn't go anywhere. That it just kind of gets dropped and forgotten because. Being able to make games is seriously limited if you're suddenly having to worry about other people's patents, as there are quite a few of them that do affect other stuff, but most people don't. They're not patents that anybody actually monitors. There's a few that are still sort of semi-active, and I know somebody tried to take Blizzard to court over an open world patent, and I don't think that went anywhere because if you couldn't show prior use, then an awful lot of these patents just sort of, certainly the court cases just sort of go away. Right. And this one, old one off, get the new one on. We can do. We can't do this. Well, we can still put the put that on. So obviously we don't want to overfill it because otherwise we'll lose the dirt that's got all the gold in it. But I can't actually do anything about this at the moment because I don't have any water, and I don't know when the water's going to be back. What I need to do, this is kind of where I guess I talk about next steps. You know, where do I go from here? And also check my time, 42 minutes. So where do I go from here? Right, well, dump truck needs to be bought. I can't keep renting it. It's money that I don't really want to spend on renting it. So this one does need to be bought. The next thing that I need is this. This is a water tower that's been demolished. Now, if I can get this up and running and put a diesel pump on because I've run out of power sources in this thing, I can basically get a big diesel pump that's basically the same as that, except it doesn't run on electricity, it runs on diesel. I can get one of those hooked up to the water tower and just fill it up when the water is high enough, and then switch over this entire system over to the water pump if I need to the water tower when I need to. Now I can get water from the place in town, but that costs money, and I don't want to do that. Right, I think if I sleep for a couple of hours, let's say sleep for 4 hours, it'll be dark, but the water source will be up and running again, which means I can start up this. Just get a little bit of gold into the account. Got to come over here because the first time I set it up was the right way around, and I've never quite gotten around to fixing that. So we're probably going to lose this gold when it turns midnight, but it's fine. pay some of the rent. And anything left, you can always turn it into a bar. Actually, getting quite a bit of gold out of this. You know what? I was going to do the... I'm just going to... basically, I guess I could just empty this now, because this has been offline. I've already started emptying it, so I might as well just empty the rest of it. That is... just turns off the water to the shaker, but leaves the power on. That means that the entire system is still running, but most importantly this bit is still running. It just means I don't have to go up to there and turn off selective parts. May as well just empty this out. It was half full, so why not? So we need our little trowel, small shovel. One more. Take this down. You can also get workers, and I don't know if that allows the... There's a few sort of extra bits that don't seem to be in use, and I do wonder if that is for workers. So I can't put buckets in those two slots for some reason. I don't know why, but I can't. The same with these. These do appear to have holders for more hog mats, but I can't put them in there, and I don't know if that's a worker thing. There we go. Nope, that's picked up the whole lot. Really, I should stop this water, but I can't be bothered. Right, that goes in there. That's just washing these hog mats and putting the dirt into a bucket so that I can put that into here. And we stop it each time. This thing breaks a lot, so it's a good idea to just not stress it too much. Right, got more gold. Right, I'm not going to do those bits on the stream. What I am going to do, however, is shut down and go and dump the magnetite. I don't think that's going to be enough for an upgrade, but I don't know. And it will just give me a little bit of an opportunity just to show off the last little bit. But Gold Rush is a fantastic game, and certainly if you want something that's just like a weird, chill, slightly broken game, it's fun. Weirdly, is it fun? I don't know if it's necessarily fun, but I think there is a certain enjoyment that you can get out of games that aren't necessarily fun, but you know, there's something going on there. Alright, let's just... Yeah, we got trailers. Like, I enjoy my time with games, I guess, is the... it doesn't necessarily need to be a fun game, but I can say that I got something out of it. I got an experience out of it. Like Dear Esther, I wouldn't say that Dear Esther is a particularly fun game, but it was a good experience. And I don't know, it was a game. people say that, oh, you know, it's a walking simulator, it's not a game, and maybe it isn't a game, maybe it's not, but it was a good experience. I'll leave it at that. But games don't need to be fun, they just have to be engaging. I don't know if I'll be able to get an upgrade with that. I don't know what the upgrades are at, because they cost different amounts for different things. And I've obviously upgraded a few of them, but if there's something that's I have this strange feeling that the next upgrade is 75. That was at. It does a texture, sort of a world streaming bit, and it's not frame rate loss or lag or whatever you want to call it. It's the world is loading in front of you, and if it doesn't load and you fall through the world, that's happened. Again, bit of a buggy game, but yeah, it kind of pauses the world. But it's not me. This is the one situation where it's not me driving badly. It's the world just not quite behaving in a way that I want it to. Another benefit of hopefully Gold Mining Simulator 2 is that hopefully they won't have to use that kind of janky method of loading in the world and unloading the world and all that. Right, let's just see. Ooh, I can get smelting time down, which I am going to do. Which means I can smelt a gold bar in 5 seconds. Let's just give it 5 seconds. It should be about 2 more. Doesn't take long to smelt a bar. And then once that's all done, it's just a case of setup. And you click on the thing, it gives you your gold bar. If you're smelting a tiny amount of gold, you get a tiny gold bar. And then you take it to the bank and you sell it. You don't have to sell it. The gold bar sort of exists in. You don't need to I pick it up and just throw it in the bed of the truck. You could just leave it back there. You can leave it wherever you like. It exists in a state of quantum entanglement, basically, and you can just sell the gold bar wherever you like, and that got me 15 grand, which is good because I spent quite a bit of money on things I needed. Right, what I'm going to do now is I am going to turn around somehow, maybe around here. I'm going to quickly nip over to the shop, the hardware shop, and just fix the placement of that fuel tanker. 'Cause I need to do that. I also know that underneath that fuel tanker, which is actually the thing that I kind of do want to get to, is a trommel wheel, trommel roller. If I go here, I can basically say no, not that. It's the small one. Mobile fuel tank, that's the one. Move my machines there, and then I just want to move it back. Cost me a bit of money for that, but nothing I can't make up reasonably easily, and it just sticks the fuel tanker back in a decent position. And of course, once it gets to winter, the last thing that I forgot to mention, when it gets to winter, you need to package up all of your stuff, pulling all of the parts off your machines, put it all into the shed, which is a great game of Tetris, trying to fit everything into the shed, or else everything breaks. I came back from my winter break in the hotel because it gets to the point where you have to do that because story-wise the environment is so cold you can't work in it anymore. So you basically just retire to the hotel for those days of winter where it's inhospitable. And yeah, so I came back from that and I'd managed to get everything in, but the one thing that I hadn't done anything with was the big generator, and all the buttons were broken. So I had to replace all the buttons on the generator, which I kind of knew that was going to break. I just didn't quite realise it was going to be all 10 of them, rather than just the 2 sort of power on, power off buttons. Right, I'm going to sleep until dawn. I know I'm sort of wasting daylight, but I just want to kind of end the stream with the... Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, actually, not that bad. $4,823 went in rent, and about the same again, a little bit less on the rent for the machinery. Actually, not that bad. So technically, I've got 86,000 that I can spend on pretty much anything I like. But right now, I've got nothing to purchase because the dump truck is too expensive. At the moment, I'm waiting for if I can get a sale, then great. But otherwise, because prices get higher. And then they sort of start dropping off. So really, the dump truck will be bought in sort of in winter time, basically, when the price is low. Because yeah, that's the thing the game does as well. So yeah, all in all, a very, very weird game. It does a lot of things right. There's an awful lot of implementation of everything. And yet it's got some really weird bugs that, as I said, they'll never be fixed. It's worth looking at if you like this sort of thing. Oh, and they do seasonal challenges as well, so you can compete on a leaderboard for most amount of gold. And I think the person on the top at the moment, they did 1 million ounces of gold last season, and they do like skins for people who got high on the leaderboards, which is a thing, again, another thing that is kind of weird for a game that was made in 2017, that they've kept that one going. They've got a big community, or dedicated community maybe. Anyway, with that, and looking up at the slightly pixelated mountain over there, I think it is time for me to end and go and eat something. So with that, I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.